Welcome, algorithm listeners and family.
We're here.
Episode 3.
Yeah, three.
Three.
Three
Episode
already.
3 already. Throw up the
sir.
threes. 3 goggles. 3 goggles.
Okay.
Now on Spotify.
Bro,
Shout out
to
Todd the
Toddy
God.
Boy. Fucking
Todd the
Boy
God.
is in there. Yes, sir.
He hooked it up the Toddy way for us.
Yeah. He don't
Sure.
sure. The Aki way one.
The Aki way.
And Todd don't want to be on camera, but he's doing a lot behind the scenes for us. He's snapping some pics. He's getting some real nice, candid ones of my face every week, and sending them to the group. I don't appreciate that, but he's making it happen for us. We're on Spotify, so go check it out.
Yeah, shout out Todd.
Shout out Toddy, man. He's
Getting
doing
us
it
on
for us.
Spotify.
Yes, sir.
We have today's episode and then 2 more
2 more.
before we start spooky
And then we're
month.
getting spooky on them.
A little bit darker,
Yeah.
slasher,
We're gonna do some
spells.
We got some good stuff coming.
I don't want to give too much
yeah,
away,
don't give
but
it away. Yeah.
some throat cutting, some spell casting, some paranormal
Yeah.
shit.
Stay tuned. We hitting all areas of the algorithm. So
Next week is all 4 of us will be here. Obviously, you guys just see me and G. All the 2 girls will be here. I think it's definitely my wife's favorite actor. I'm not sure about Tiffany, but Adam Sandler.
yeah, they're not tapping in with the music stuff. So
Little homage Adam Sandler episode next week. But today we have our first music episode.
yes, sir.
A little bit of it wouldn't be a music episode if there wasn't a little bit of controversy behind
Yeah.
it.
He's a kind of a polarizing figure.
One of the biggest controversial, I'm not going to say biggest, like most controversial artists of like the younger generation
Yeah, definitely.
ever. And that is Mr. XxXTentacion.
Yes,
Tentacion. Okay, we're going to do this kind of like how we've done the other episodes, like tell you guys the background and just talk about it.
Yep.
Let's get into it.
That we bring up. So X, whose real name was Jahseh Ricardo Onfroy, was an American rapper, singer, and songwriter who rose to prominence in the late 2010s. Born on January 23, 1998, in Plantation, Florida, X experienced a tumultuous early life marked by personal struggles, creativity, and desire for change. Growing up, X faced numerous challenges. His parents' troubled relationship led to his mother's struggle with substance abuse, resulting in his upbringing being fraught with instability. Despite the difficulties, Jahseh found solace in music and art, expressing his emotions through various creative outlets. Drawing inspiration from genres such as hip-hop, rock, and punk, he began rapping and writing songs at a young age.
And when he was 13, he was diagnosed with being bipolar.
Yeah.
The doctor wanted him on medication, but actually his mother told the doctor no,
Yeah.
citing that she just wanted him she just wanted counseling for him.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that like stuck out to me early in the documentary that I watched about him was like his mom and even his aunt kind of noticed there was like he was a real happy kid, and then just at some point in his life it was like a light switch just flipped and he just became real serious and kind of started going down this negative path.
Yeah, just a troubled kid. Jahseh's career started gaining traction when he began uploading his music to SoundCloud, an online platform for emerging artists. His raw and emotionally charged tracks quickly caught the attention of listeners and garnered a dedicated following. His early releases, including Look at Me and Young Brats, showcased a unique blend of aggressive delivery, introspective lyrics, and electric production, which resonated with the generation seeking authenticity and a voice for their own struggles. This shit that he was doing was different.
Yeah, definitely.
Different. Like, I think, like, okay, so Todd fucks with that. I fuck with it too, that hard shit, that get the crowd fighting shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And this dude would get the crowd fighting each other. Like, the shows were insane.
And that's one thing I noticed definitely with him was like, and I kind of chalk it up to just like our whole generation, even kids a little bit younger than us. Like growing up, we had such a wide variety of like mixtures of music. So like, you know, at certain points, like even our parents' life, like there was just rock music, there was just country music. There wasn't this blend of like each genre. So like, there's this kind of first sight of like this blending of hip hop with rock, like
hybrids.
Even like we've talked about Limp Bizkit in the past. Like you got like guys playing guitar and then you got a guy on the turntables on the same song. So like you kind of start seeing this in rap music in the early 2010s, like in the early 2010s, maybe even a little bit before that. Of just some of the stuff like the Young Brat song, like it's a straight screamo song over like a distorted rap.
What they record on
those snowballs. Mics, and like we talked about this before the show even started today, like those mics are like a low quality mic, but it almost boosted the song because like the beats they were making, they were unmixed. Like I don't know, a lot of people don't know about production as far as like how beats are made and stuff like that, but like a raw produced beat is like it's gonna have those distortions and the 808s and the big hits on the bass and stuff, and like it almost boosted the songs for them.
Yeah, they were literally
recording.
They were literally recording in like friends' like closets and bedrooms and stuff, just with the snowball mic just going hard.
Yeah, and you can play that song right now in any car and it'll about blow your eardrum.
Look at Me and Young Brats. Oh my god, dude!
Definitely.
I've been humming the Look at Me beat all day, all day.
Yeah, I was yelling that shit all day at work yesterday. That Young Brat song. So.
All right. Despite his growing success, X faced legal troubles, as every young artist does. In 2016, he was arrested and charged with multiple felonies, including aggravated battery of a pregnant woman, false imprisonment, and witness tampering. These charges cast a shadow over his career and sparked intense debates among his fans and critics. Okay, so we can have a little discussion about this. This was very, very bad. Yeah,
and this is actually something that I actually appreciated about the not the what he was doing, but they didn't shy away from it. His mom was had a lot to do with the documentary, and that they still had his back at the end of the day, but they didn't shy away from it and make excuses for him. And it was just you could tell it was just a really bad time in his life. I mean, he was dealing with a lot on top of blowing up as an artist. I can only imagine what he was going through. But
the documentary we're talking about is the Look at Me documentary that came out on Hulu a few years back. It really had a lot of. It was kind of very Into the Abyss-esque.
Oh, like, yeah.
And rise and fall type shit.
And him and Juice have a lot of similarities. I think their emotions came out in two completely separate ways, but
it blows my mind.
The things they were going through.
It blows my mind they never made a song together.
Yeah, it's
having the mutual friendship with Ski Mask, which we'll get into Ski in a little bit. Like that blows my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. And probably down the line they probably would have done some music together. But
yeah.
Both of these guys, they rose so quickly and fell even faster.
That's crazy.
And you look at the documentary, man. It's 3 years, and he was gone. So
yeah,
his music career was very short lived, and to do what he did in that short amount of time it's insane, man.
Yep. I don't. It's one of those things like we're going to obviously get into the 17 album, the Question Mark album, his success. But separating the artist from the controversy, because this is like a watered down version of what his legal troubles were.
Yeah.
He was in some shit.
Yeah.
This is allegedly, but they admitted it in the documentary. It's so foggy, but he beat his girlfriend so bad that she lost a baby.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. And then, she. In the documentary, they actually showed a lot of the pictures of when he beat her, and we're talking
choking her in the bathtub, almost drowning her to a point to where she died.
Both of her eyes were completely black.
Swollen. It's so weird. How can we think of R. Kelly? How can we separate the artist and the music from the person?
And it's crazy. A lot of some of the biggest artists ever, and R. Kelly and Michael Jackson,
Prince,
that these guys all had these things that loomed over their head, but
Frank Sinatra,
they got
Elvis
pushed off to the side just because of who they were.
Yeah, the biggest stars ever had the biggest controversies. Juice.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. However, X's music continued to captivate audiences as he released his debut studio album 17 in 2017. The album delved into themes of mental health, depression, and self-reflection, showcasing a more vulnerable and introspective side of the artist. It received critical acclaim and debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart.
See, and that's something I want to touch on right there, is debuting, and I mean, a lot of people don't dive into like what Billboard is and what debuting means, but debuting at number 2 means that before the album even drops, it already had sold enough to be at number 2 on the chart. So this is before even anybody even hears. I mean, obviously, artists lead with a single most of the time, and it's usually probably one of the better tracks on the album. But when it comes to debuting, that just shows like your fan base, how they really follow you. It's he had that cult following. Like you can see some of these shows that they were doing early in his career, bro, and it's just like
shows
in Florida, like in his hometown stuff, and they're just packing these clubs, bro, and people are just literally like rioting at his shows, bro.
It was literally okay. So Todd, it was literally like we go to Pierre's, and imagine Pierre's packed.
Yeah.
And it's like Knocked Loose playing.
Yeah.
Like Pierre's is jumping. Like jumping.
And
it's that.
The dude just he did, and they speak on that a lot in that documentary if you go check it out. Like this dude knew how to command a crowd. And you could tell like that's one of the things that hit me most is like you can tell this dude almost looked to his fans as therapy, as his family, because like that's where he went a lot of times when he was feeling bad, when he was feeling negative. Like he would go here and say like, I can't do this without you guys, because really that's what he speaks on a lot in those vlogs that he was making, and that they put a lot into the documentary. Like this guy was really just lost at a certain point in his life, and that's when a lot of these bad things that
he said he wanted to play the villain. He wanted to be the villain of music. He wanted to bring it all down.
Yeah.
And it got so bad to where, like...
He definitely did that.
Yeah, he definitely did that, but he also rose so high that, like, his homies were starting to tell him, like, you don't have to be the villain anymore. And that's when, like, before Question Mark came out, that's when, like, his music started changing a little bit, and it... Like,
it changed on 17, bro. I mean, you go look at that track.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of those are R&B sounding songs with those more heartfelt, like, not so violent,
the
not
guitar
so
strings,
energetic verses, man, where he's just almost... Not necessarily talking. He's just he's almost. It almost reminded me. A lot of those songs, like his verses, were just like poems. Like he has a flow to a poem. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where he really caught my eye. Like a lot of the stuff he was doing early, like like Look at Me. Those songs were really good. Young Brat's really good, but I've always been more like a lyrical rapper type guy. And he had bars in those songs, but like when 17 came out, bro, like those songs were like. Those were songs that like were really speaking to people, and that's where you started seeing that in his following, bro. Like so many people in that documentary saying like he saved me from depression, bro. And speaking on Juice, you see that a lot with him too. Just the things that he was talking about really spoke to people, and you could tell that's like really what he was trying to do is make music for the people that felt like him and went through the things that he was going through.
That era, I used to be the biggest fucking hater. Like I've gotten better at not hating on things so much.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that
it was
era,
easier when you're younger, bro. You just
it was so easier. Like all I fuck with is Hopsin and the Underground, like Tech and fucking Kendrick and all the lyricists, bars.
That's how it was too.
I never gave SoundCloud rap and the I don't want to say mumble rap, but you know what the music I'm talking about, like Trippy, X, Uzi, even Juice. I wasn't the biggest Juice fan when Juice is out.
I was kind of sold on Juice right off the bat, but like a lot of them guys, like they did fall off quick. But the guys that stuck around, like you can't hate on them, bro. I mean, go look at Juice's numbers right now. Go look at X's numbers right now. Still some of the biggest artists.
35.8 million monthly Spotify listeners for X. He is the number 5 most streamed rapper ever. Yeah. The only rappers ahead of him on Spotify are Drake, Eminem, Kanye, and Juice. Yeah. Good company.
Good company. Definitely.
Fucking good company.
And to do that in this short amount of time. Juice also. I mean, we did the Juice episode at our old show, and we'll probably retouch Juice just because.
Oh, we're definitely going to retouch Juice.
But it's crazy to see the rise of these guys in this short amount of time and see what the impact they had on the music industry and still do have after their death.
Yeah, I never, getting back to that hating on SoundCloud point, I never gave it a shot until Juice. Mm-hmm. Like I started listening to Juice, and then I started kind of going to Trippy and then going to X, and I'm like, man, I fucking wasted so many years of just listening to good fucking music because I was on some hater shit.
Yeah.
don't be a hater when it comes to music.
No, don't.
I finally started listening to like the heaviest fucking rock shit, and it's some of the best music I've ever listened to. I know it's not your cup of tea, but that shit's insane.
Yeah, and that's my thing though. Like, just not even like speaking on what you said, like not being a hater. Like, it might not be your cup of tea, but like go listen to what it actually is. Don't just say like, hey,
Good music is good music.
whack. Yeah.
Just like you're not a country man,
Yeah.
you're not a country country fan, but that
Yeah,
old
Oliver
man,
Anthony, bro. That dude's
there's the good music.
just talking to people, bro.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with X. In 2018, X released his second studio album titled Question Mark, which further explored his multifaceted artistic style. The album featured a diverse range of genres, including rap, rock, and R&B, and showcased his versatility as an artist. Question Mark, which included hit single Sad, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, cementing X's status as a major force in the music industry. Sad's, obviously that's his most streamed song.
That's the song that he goes into the studio and the engineers in there, and he's like,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was like, you got any beats? And
That's
the
right.
engineers just starts like
Yeah, he was looking through
Sorting
other
through.
producer stuff, and he's like, no, do you got a beat?
Yeah, and the beat, and like the engineer's like super nervous, and he was like super like and X picked
Actually,
one out,
yeah,
and I think
put
it was
one.
called Sad Banjo,
Yep, Sad Banjo.
and you can just see X just
Light up, yeah. And that's, right now that's X's number 1 stream song ever, I think. And
yes. It's
a lot-
sad,
you
and I
can
think
ask- you can ask a lot of people. That's my favorite song by him ever. That or probably like Moonlight, but
man, that's so tough.
such a great song, man.
I love Numb,
There's so
Sad,
many good
Jocelyn
ones, bro.
Flores.
I'm crazy about the whole thing. Jocelyn Flores. That's the first song I ever heard by him. Or no, Look at Me was, but that's the one that really caught my eye. 'Cause
Hope is so
that's
good.
like one of the first ones you like really started like getting vulnerable on and having that R&B feel. Like that's one of the first ones that caught my eye. But Sad's easily my favorite song he's ever made. Back to this. Tragically, on June 18th, 2018, X was shot and killed during an armed robbery in Florida, leaving behind a legacy that continues to impact fans and fellow artists alike. His untimely death sparked a wave of mourning and reflection on the issues he often addressed in his music. X's early life and career were marked by personal struggles, artistic experimentation, and unyielding desire to connect with his audience. While his life was cut short, his music and the impact he made on his fans will forever be remembered, solidifying him as an influential figure in the rap industry. Let's just start with like the events leading up to the shooting.
Okay.
So like X, you could tell. So this is kind of leading up to like his trial and stuff. So he was about to. He kind of knew, I think, that, and his mom kind of speaks on this. They all kind of knew that he was probably going to go away for a long time. So going back to the allegations with him, beating his girlfriend. He also had like witness tampering charges, and then stuff from his past where he had some armed robbery charges and stuff like that from when he was really young. So like all this stuff kind of built up, accumulated, and then I think they show like his pre-trial, because it's kind of like back to that Casey Anthony episode. Like he lived in Florida, so all this stuff was real public when he was in court and stuff. Like you can film in court down there, all that stuff. So like they have actual footage of his pre-trial, I think, and you could just tell like they were gonna throw the book this time.
He had his fans, show up for support during the pre-trial, and the judge was just not. She was pissed off.
Yeah.
It was a chick, right? I
Yeah,
believe it was a
he
chick.
couldn't even talk. Like he raised his hand at one point, and she was just like, "Nah, bro."
Yeah. So he knew he was going away. The reason these charges got brought up again was because his girlfriend Geneva actually decided to drop the charges she had against him, which it made the police, or the prosecutors and everybody just go and listen to the jail calls.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like,
Yeah.
you just blatantly hear him like, "Hey, you got to drop the charges."
Yeah, you gotta
blah,
drop the
blah,
charge. And
yeah.
I think she planned on doing that anyways, but that's something like through the judicial system, like when you are in trouble a lot like that, the state has the option to pick up any charge that you have against you. So with all, the things that build up with his, criminal history, they decided to, go after all these things.
Yeah, so he knew the trial was coming up and stuff like that, and he just told his mom, like, "I want to go buy a bike."
Yeah.
And
It didn't really make sense to her. He already had, I think she said like 3 or 4 bikes in his garage,
And
and he
he-
never even rode.
And so she said, "I sent like a bodyguard or somebody there to protect him." And obviously the video went viral. You can't live in 20 Well, at the time, I think it was 2018. You can't live in 2018 or the 2020s without fucking anything being caught on video. And it was just...
You saw it that day.
Yeah,
Next
I
day,
mean...
whatever it was. 2
or 3 men just run up to the car and just... He had $50,000 cash on him?
Yeah, something like that. And it almost, it almost seems like it could have been a setup.
It looked like a fucking setup.
There's allegations that it was a setup. There's also... I think they talked about maybe like him posting his location on Instagram, which has happened several times with rappers. I think that's what ended up happening with P&B Rock. They had posted his location. They know you got money.
That happened with Dolph. I can't remember if that happened with Dolph or not.
I can't remember. He was in his hometown too, though, which that shit happens too. You just got haters that live where you live, but. In the video you clearly see like he goes to leave. This place was like obviously it was like a power sports place. It's a gated place, so he literally leaves the gate. They pull up to the main road and SUV pulls up, blocks the car. 3 guys hop out. They try to snatch the money. X, obviously being who he is, wasn't giving the money up.
We didn't really touch much on that. He loved to fucking fight.
Oh yeah.
There's he got hundreds of videos,
multiple scraps in the where he's in the documentary, just in
beating the shit, bro. He was a little guy.
Hands, bro.
He was a little guy, but he could fight.
Yep. And every fight they showed, bro, he licking dudes up, bro. He dropped one dude in one of the fights.
I don't know if you watched or listened to the Adam 22 interview, but he was a big UFC fan. So he met like Vitor Belfort, like a bunch of MMA guys. Boy had hands on him.
Definitely. And he did train. They showed that kind of towards the end of the documentary too. He trained, he boxed a lot, but that's just being him, and having the temperament that he did, like he wasn't giving up the cash, bro. He tried to fight back. The guy that was with him actually jumped out of the car and ran. Obviously they had no interest in that guy, and it led to
they just wanted the money in the Louis Vuitton bag, I think.
Yeah. So.
But okay, some notable things from Eggs. Obviously we said he had 35.8 million monthly Spotify listeners. He is the first lead artist to have 8 hip-hop songs with over 1 billion streams each on Spotify.
And that's insane.
And Question Mark is the most streamed album ever on Spotify. Yeah. Didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. But that's a...
that album is just so good.
So good. Both those albums. 17 was... I listened to that heavy when it came out.
Yeah. I'm a big Question Mark guy. I fucking bump that. I still bump that shit. I mean, even before we said we were listening to this episode, I still bump that.
And the song that... I can't remember what the song that... Kanye featured on him where he's just on the hook. Such a great song, man. Like, I'd still, every time I hear that, I wish he had a verse on it.
Yep. But. A tragic ending for a controversial young artist's life. I mean,
quick rise and fall, man. It's definitely sad, but I mean, obviously you see the impact just by those numbers alone.
Still, I mean, that's another thing we didn't touch on. X never sold himself to the industry.
Oh, yep. I had something. It was telling me like we didn't touch on it, and I wanted to touch on it. I couldn't think of what it was, and that was the first thing that popped out to me. This dude was very knowledgeable of the industry, because how many stories are there out there where rappers come in the game and they live their whole career and then they're broke 2-3 years later, like an NFL player, because
he's seen the end game,
signed some bullshit contract. You know what I mean? This guy, they say he signed with Empire Records, not a very big.
$100,000.
Yeah, not a very big deal. Not a very big record company in the industry. He had multiple deals on the table for $1.5 million advances, all type of stuff. But that's something that stuck out to me big time, was that when he signed with Empire, the CEO of Empire and founder of Empire asked him, like, why are you taking my deal? It's for $100,000 for 2 songs.
2 songs. One of them was Look at Me, and I can't remember what the other one was. I'm pretty sure it was... It might have been Young Bratz.
Yeah, it might have been. I'm not sure off the top of my head on that one, but he said, your deal makes me a partner, their deal makes me a slave. And he's exactly right, because that's what the music industry does, bro. It chooses these young artists out that are very talented. It chews them up and spits them out real quick, and keeps all their masters, keeps anything away from them that could continue to bring them generational wealth. And he saw that from – I kind of think we talked about that before the show. Like, you start seeing that with that era of rappers. They became knowledgeable of the music industry and started doing it on their own independently.
He said he's seen the end game, and I mean, even in his afterlife, like you see, like his family, his baby mama, he has a son. Yeah. You see him filming, and they are living great. Yeah. He owns all of his masters. Yeah. And 35.8 million monthly Spotify listeners.
His family's still, like I said,
generational wealth
because of that. And that was something that, one more point that was kind of sad is, like, the Empire CEO. He said they went to dinner one time and they were eating Chinese or something, like hibachi or something like that. And he said X was playing with the chopsticks, just they were talking whatever, and he said something about he was going to be a great dad. And he said, "You'll be a great dad someday too." And he said, "No, I won't." Just so he said, like literally went from like
X said that.
Yeah, literally went from playing the chopsticks to "No, I won't. I'll be dead before I'm 21." And then just went like
Goes back to eating.
right
Yeah,
back to eating like it was just.
You'll be a great dad.
Yeah.
No, I won't. Goes back to eating. No.
And that's what sucks, you know. At the end of the day, this guy left a pregnant girlfriend behind when he was shot and killed, and his son's probably 4 or 5 now.
Yeah, I think so.
5 or 6 now, and won't grow up to see his dad, but left him behind something great to continue to.
Looks just fucking like him, dude.
Yeah.
Spitting image of him.
That's kind of crazy that we kind of talked about that at the beginning of the show, like how this guy just kind of he had his own vibe to the point where he made his own terms up. He made his own name up, like. His son's name's even a word that he made up and had his own meaning.
KQ or something like that?
KQ or something like that. And he had a whole meaning to it. You guys can go look it up.
I think his name's dope as fuck. Jahseh?
Yeah.
I think it means God said.
Yeah. They talked about that at the very beginning. Yeah.
God, like that's how Jamaicans say God. They say Jah.
Yeah.
And then say means said.
Yeah,
so it's God said the word of
playing,
God.
They're playing some Bob Marley at the beginning. Because you can tell his family, his mother's side of the family is from Jamaica, obviously. His mom's got a little bit of a Jamaican accent. Her name's Cleo. So, I mean, the guy was a very unique character, very polarizing figure, and, it's sad to say that we don't get to see any more from him at this point.
I still bump it.
Yeah,
I'll always bump it, even though, I mean, the controversies.
He made timeless music.
He made timeless music. The controversy sucks. Yeah. I mean, what he did was horrible, but you can definitely see he was definitely changing his ways.
Yeah,
so
that was one thing. Like, I keep bringing up more stuff, but I think it was the sad video. He put his old self like in a casket, like
killing his old self.
Yeah, he had the guy with the old braids with the yin yang with the black and white on each side, and he put him in a casket, and he actually fights him in the music video and beats the shit out of him, and like that he even says it like that was him putting his old self to bed and like becoming a new person, and it sucks to see that like you could see he was starting to change as a person and starting to do the right things, and then kind of doesn't get the chance now. So,
well, that's all we got today for Mr. Jahseh Onfroy. XxxTentacion. Next week, Adam Sandler. Yes, the girly girls will be here. Yeah. Some fun trivia. Adam Sandler homage. Talk about some movies.
I got to get Tiffany on some Adam Sandler movies. She's seen some, but her. I think we're gonna get more laughs out of her.
Erica's gonna come prepared to fight for the wedding singer and 51st Dates.
I'm ready because those are good movies.
They're great movies,
but I can't put them in touch.
And she hates on little Nicky, so I'm about to I'm gonna talk some shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk some shit.
I'm gonna have some shit to talk also. But
follow us on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and subscribe to the YouTube.
Tap in.
Shout out Todd the God the Toddy way.
Yeah.
Huh? We ain't on Threads yet, bud.
Get us on Threads.
Get us on X, bud.
Bro, come on.
X. See ya.
Peace.